I'm just going to point out, if you've watched our gardening videos, the amount of work and effort that has gone into this and the yield versus a round of meat chickens.
So true. I'm relisting my lists, my handwritten lists. You know, how you don't do handwritten lists. This hangs. Honey's next week. Soon we will trim the trees and hang the swing, linen swing. The sooner the better for me on the swing front. For my days. That'd be lovely.
This is the first weekend I think I've had off and been home and really haven't had something on both days in like, I don't know, since Mother's Day.
It's so hard.
It's been like a consistent.
So I need you to weed eat, finish the backsplash.
Drop off the mower.
Our mower broke, that's fine.
AT&T.
Well, this is his whole list. Okay, what else?
There's something else.
There was something else that we said. I was going to ask you to put the bed together. We got a new bed for the toddler finally. There was one more thing. All right, ready? You want to do something really cheesy and high five and go team?
Go team. Hey. Yeah. Team things.
It's going to bother me until I can remember the other thing on your list. I know there's one more thing.
So we were talking about how to get this garden under control. We've just been so busy and we've had so much rain. And we didn't put enough weed cloth down apparently in all the places we should have. So everywhere we didn't put it has exploded. We put some down here like on top of grass. You can probably see this is like bouncy, which worked on this side. So this area right here had gotten super overgrown and I did that and it killed all the grass under it. So I think maybe I'm gonna add some bricks on top of that to weight it down. And then we're probably just gonna have to move things along the edges and weed eat under it and then lay more weed cloth. Good times. Another gardening lesson learned. So this is difficult because I have irrigation lines run everywhere. There's water hoses to feed the drip line. And then there's little hoses coming off of the drip lines and elbows and everything that are running now underneath all this grass. So it's exciting. Guess what I got? Look. Oh, I got him again. You want to see him? Don't kill him. So you may have noticed Keisha disappeared. This is life with a birth worker. Start a project and she gets a call and she disappears for an hour. But she's also home a lot, so ups and downs. So next year, you can see all this behind me, we will do the style of gardening where you cover everything in this and then you poke holes through it for your plants because this is ridiculous. And the areas that we covered are doing really well. This area, the grass hasn't grown through just because we had pigs on it for like 5 months. They really knocked it down. But if we don't, like it's gonna eventually, if we keep getting a ton of rain through the summer, grass is gonna come through that. Because these beds used to look like over there. And of course these are harvested, so we kind of stopped paying attention to them. But you can see it's coming through. This also is all weed cloth, but like the paper kind, not the good kind, with like 2 inches of gravel on top. Grass took over all that. Yes, we see the screaming baby in the background. This is just what she does because she's 2. She just is mad all the time. Where? I'm just going to point out, if you've watched our gardening videos, the amount of work and effort that has gone into this and the yield versus a round of meat chickens.
So true. And it's my favorite that people, like when they want to get into growing their own food. I mean, I was the same. We just have
we did the same thing.
It's like, oh, let's start a garden.
Let's start a garden.
Let me tell
No.
you, just start some meat chickens.
Yeah.
You'll feel so much more accomplished and then get into the garden.
One day building a chicken tractor, you can do this in your backyard in a neighborhood if you're diligent about either moving them or keeping them on like deep mulch bedding and like turning it so that the poop doesn't build up.
And they're really not that loud. People worry about that.
No,
They're not full grown yet.
Well, yeah, nobody's crowing. There's like tiny amounts of clucking, but it's not like disruptive. And you're done in 6 to 9 weeks, depending on how good you are at it. Yeah.
If you don't want giant chickens, which we're finding people don't, odd to me, however, you have like a 9-pound chicken and people are like, what do I do with it? I'm like, you eat it and now you
But if you're like a
leftovers.
2-person family and your child only
cook
eats.
for a week. So I just posted some chickens for sale because we need to make some space in our freezer. And they're anywhere between like $3.10 and $4.10 a pound, right? But that still comes out to like a $30 chicken. And people are like, oh no, that's too much. I'm like, do you understand like getting an organic pastured chicken for somewhere around $3.50 a pound?
Well, and you know,
like
if you don't eat that much chicken, then you just have leftovers.
Yeah, you can do so much with it. Like dice it up and use it for soup. I mean, you can freeze it. My parents freeze their meat because it's just the 2 of them. So when they make they do it on purpose. Like they make a lot of meat on purpose. So they can cut it up and they freeze it in individuals and then they'll just pull it out. It's like fast food.
Yeah.
They'll make quesadillas, they'll do tacos, they'll throw it in soup or chili. Yeah.
So not to discourage you from planting a garden, I will say there's a learning curve with everything. Our irrigation saves us a whole lot of time of watering, which we didn't have installed last year. And so everything you do, the longer you do it, the more efficient you get at it and the less time it takes. But for initial learner's curve investment, meat chickens are the way. What do you need?
You.
Another example of birth worker on the phone while we're doing projects. I'm sure we'll get some kind of comment on here. You don't know what you're doing. You're right, we don't know what we're doing, but that is kind of the nature of trying to do homesteading when you work full-time, and especially if your job is not reliable. So that's why we've talked about not overcommitting yourself in the work that you're doing. You know, start smaller, see what you can manage, and go larger. Sometimes, like, we set this up to be manageable, and then we've just had a crazy 2 months that also coincides with a ton of rain that we don't normally get. Grass is exploding, multiple factors. So here's our mistake, by the way. So we did run weed cloth, but we ran it. So here's where our fence ends. There's where our weed cloth ends. There is the reality that there will be grass that grows up along this fence line just because we have chicken wire on top of the fence wire because we have an issue with rabbits and small dogs. But I am gonna run a strip just as close as I can get. And then I'm gonna put all these plants back on top of it. These are the bits I want growing up fences. Some blueberries hiding. See those? Don't get very many of these. The birds get them. I think it's because they were kind of tucked back there by the fence. Dirt is good for your immune system. There she is, still on the phone. For anybody who wonders why we're too busy to hang out, it's not you. It's not you, it's me. So I'm just putting these little irrigation drip things back in.
think Robert chatted a little bit while I was on the phone managing a client situation. This is real life, being a midwife and homesteading. Such a unique life. I totally recognize that. And doesn't come without, you know, stress and frustrations that are a little bit unique. But everybody has their own unique stress and frustrations. I'm taking next year off and I'm so excited. I'll still be working, but for another midwife, and I won't have to manage calls like that on a Saturday when I'm trying to work in the garden. So this is turning into more than 45 minutes that I asked Robert to help me with. Look, here he comes.
But I knew.
He knew. But we're almost done with what I needed to get done out here. These are all ready and prepped. We just need to lay the...
I gotta go take the mower.
We do. That's fine. I'll water this, and then maybe this evening, when it cools off again, we'll come out and finish. So now that we've got some work done in the garden, trying to miss some of the heat, I don't know how successful we've been in that, but we got the hardest work done that we needed to do today. I am getting my cucumbers ready to be pickled this evening, so cutting them all up, soak them in some salt for a couple hours to get the water out. That's what helps keep them crunchy. So doing this first, I really should have done it this morning. I forgot. It was on my list of things to do. I just totally forgot. My mom does an amazing job at growing cucumbers. Cucumbers seem to be my thing that I cannot get under control with my pests. So since my mom grows them beautifully and has them coming out of her ears, it works out. So we'll be doing that and trying a new recipe today. Actually, she got a blue ribbon winning recipe from a friend who was willing to share her proprietary recipe with her. So I'm super excited to try that. I tried them at her house yesterday and they were delicious. So we'll do that today. This evening is when they'll finish up for us. I'll take you through that process a little bit. Then next on my list is, I'll probably start my zucchini bread next, get that in the oven, and then I'll prepare all the apples that I have still anyways for the freeze dryer. I really have been putting it off. It's not a fun process, peeling all the apples. I have a little tool that I'll use to make the process of cutting them evenly easier, but other than that, it's a little hard. And then the kids, you might be able to hear in the background, have a little project they've been working on that they need to perform for us. Both of them read Peter Pan. Jude read the abridged version, and Brody. Jude read the abridged version, and then Brody read the full original. And then they had to do a project together. So we do a little bit of school in the summer, not regular school. It's kind of like catch-up stuff that I wish we had time to do in the school year, and we don't. So I do it in the summer. But so far, we're pretty on track, except for we missed our appointment slot for the lawnmower to be fixed. So now that's going to have to roll over to next week. If that's the only thing, though, I feel pretty good about it. Because usually I have 4 or 5 things on my list that I thought was going to get done that don't. And then that's frustrating.
There's not too many things I love more than putting together furniture. So great. Second only to taking out the trash after your wife and kids have stacked it 3 stories high.
You want to go give Daddy a piece of zucchini bread? She ate it. That's for Daddy. Go get Daddy a piece.
Thank you. A whole piece?
Oh, did Daddy share?
Cheers.
It's good.
It's really good.
Cassava. Not bad. It's not flour.
Real to me.
It's really, I know, because
Oh,
we're
I
used
didn't
to
know
it.
flowers, you know.
Yeah, it's mostly, but we don't know because we don't taste it.
There she is. All set up.
So we are back on the pickle making process. I've got my brine right here. Getting this one ready to boil. And I'll start packing my jars here in a second. I do have dinner going. And the starter over here is exploding. Saturdays are busy around here. I enjoy it though, because it's so nice to have a day that I can just do this and hopefully nothing else. Midwife, so sometimes other things too, but.
Got 17 minutes till dark.
Here we go. To complete the goals, which actually, I'll check off everything on my list.
I will not.
You will not. It's because I usually give you too many things to do.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
All right. Yeah. Time positivity syndrome.
It does look pretty. Thank you. I don't know. That I could see.
What are we doing?
We got to. We're gonna go ahead and put weed cloth down here.
These 3?
Yep. And then we'll run the drip. I just hope that the water goes in like it's supposed to.
Huh?
I'm pretty sure it does. You want me to look really quick? Oh, no.
That's still on there.
I have to plant. So it just means we won't be doing it on this.
Okay.
Which is fine.